Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, your weekly source of VR Untethered insanity.
Again.
Yep. So that's Brad, and I'm Josh, and that's Brad, and I'm Josh. So, now that you know our names, let's get on with the show. Today we have highlights of the week, as usual. New releases, of which there were a few, one on the Quest and a few on other platforms. We have an actual upcoming title on an unusual day of the week. And news. So, without any further ado, Brad, what was your good news? I mean, highlights of the week.
My highlights of this week were I got to play a couple of the swing songs in Synth Riders, which I downloaded quite a while ago before Echo Arena took me away from everything else. And that was great. I mean, they did an amazing job with that. I was just having fun. It was like, one of those put your fingers up and, one of those type of deals. So I really enjoyed that. That was probably my highlight of the week.
Did you go with the premium ones or the free ones?
The premiums.
Okay.
Yeah. To me,
the free ones so far, so I haven't quite sprung for the premiums yet.
Are you enjoying the free ones?
Yeah. It's fun. One of them is rather difficult, but the other four are fun.
Yeah, I just find that in general it's such a different genre of music and such a change from everything else that I'm in, which is all techno or rap or whatever. And this is the first time
it's kind of on the techno side, because it's electro swing.
Right, exactly. But it still has that swing sound.
A much different feel than the other stuff does. Yeah.
Right. So I really enjoyed that. And what else did I play this week that was enjoyable? Of course, Echo Arena, which is drawing me back in.
Again, Echo Arena, right?
Echo Arena is, man, that is going to be the V Sport for sure. But yeah, it is kind of crowded at times with not the most
mature.
Thank you. That was a very good word for it. Yes, not the most mature players.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that clears out. Everybody keeps saying the toxic players or the immature players go away after a time. So.
Right. In theory, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be a few, but by and large, when the fad and the newness wears off, they're going to go find another one to the mob. In theory.
Right.
That hasn't quite happened with Rec Room yet, but.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a theory.
That. They're like, come to us, miscreant.
I know. It is a good gathering ground for miscreants. Where was I reading about people sleeping in VR and waking up, that they go to these VR chat rooms and actually fall asleep there? And, okay,
I mean, if that's what it takes for you to get to sleep, more power to you. To each their own, I guess. But yeah, I don't know that I'd want to do that. But because now that I've got a battery pack on the back of there, just trying to lie down on it. It's not the most comfortable experience, even without a battery pack. Lying down kind of like it pushes it up just a little bit off of your eyes.
Right. Right. It's that does leave a little to be desired. And just seeing all of these modifications everybody's doing on their individual quests, it's like these guys have to work on the ergonomics of the next quest. That is obviously a major here.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different options for what people are trying to do to make them fit, that obviously it wasn't the best design in the world to begin with.
Well, yeah, the biggest flaw was the foam interface as opposed to using any other material.
Right. Right.
But yeah.
Exactly. And I see also now they're advertising the silicon
Work with
interface in
it,
VR.
but some people, but not other people. So that wasn't a big design flaw. That's just some people work for it, other people it doesn't work for.
Right. And also, I guess, where are you wearing the headset itself? Because some people need to wear it like lower down on their face to see more through the top of the lens and the sweet spot.
Over that, that's a part of the fit and adjustment tutorial that walks you through at the very beginning when you first put it on. It says, adjust up, down, tilt, as needed, so.
Well, what I'm noticing over time, since we have them now for a little over a year, is that they have stretched out a little bit. So I'm finding that it rides a little bit lower. I guess the rubber of the headband, and I have to tighten it up a bit more frequently than I used to.
No, your head is just shrinking.
You know, I thought that was the case, but my doctor told me.
I'm going to assume that your doctor told you it was not the case because you were breaking up a little bit there on my end. So.
Yes, I said my doctor told me no, but then again, he is a witch doctor, so I just figured he was familiar with freaking heads. Ooh, yes, it's a new language that we speak in VR.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Our new equivalent to Pig Latin. It's our code.
Yes. So, any other major highlights this week for you?
Yeah, the major highlight for me was I realized that over the last several months, I have accumulated probably 8 games that I haven't even opened. And that was really pretty major.
So, if you open a new game every week,
all this stuff. I'm set right at this point. I could, although release of Premium Bowling, I'm torn. I love bowling. I really do. And
yeah,
the idea of that.
I haven't decided if I want to do that yet or not, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in the new releases. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my highlights of the week are, of course, Echo Arena. As always, even though the lobby is not always the most enjoyable place to be because of toxic behavior, still the game itself is enjoyable, and I enjoy doing the enjoyable game that I enjoy. Did I say enjoy enough?
I'm enjoying the fact that you're enjoying questioning your enjoyment.
Okay. Also, I tried out the new the color space updates, and last week I think I mentioned it on the show last week, but I'm not sure if I did or not. So in case I didn't, I did. I recorded and had streams on my own the personal channel, Mission ISS, in honor of the SpaceX launch. So that was a highlight. So.
Yeah, that was great. You put that up there just even before the astronauts got up there, so you made record time. That was pretty good.
I beat them to it.
You did. You also confused the heck out of me when you said that they had docked prior to them docking.
Yeah. So that's because I wasn't constantly watching the live stream that we had going of the fight, and it was showing them just docking, and then yay, so like, oh hey, okay, they just docked. Wow, that was really fast. I wasn't expecting it until 19 hours, but
I know.
What are you doing?
We were only like 7 hours into it when you told me that.
Yeah.
It was like first year,
And my wife told me later that was the soft dock, but they had to wait for the hard dock for another few hours. I'm not sure why, but so I don't know.
Okay. But it was great. And we did talk about it. I know, but it was still exceptional to watch. And
yeah, it was.
So definitely a highlight. As far as that goes, I guess the other. Go ahead.
Hmm?
The other thing I was looking at, I was going back over the HP reverb specs again, and I just can't figure out why they're staying wired. I just am not getting this.
But that does not sound like a highlight.
I'm sorry, it was a highlighted question. I broke ranks.
So yeah, well, I think for the non-standalone headsets, they kind of have to go wired unless they also include a wireless adapter of some sort, because they can't assume that, because how else is the non-standalone headset going to they connect to a computer? They've got to have some sort of operating system on it, or it's got to have some sort of built-in pairing with it, and if they're going to do that, a lot of them are going to go with a proprietary design, so that you have to use the pairing adapter.
No, I mean I understand what you're saying, but
It's doing wired,
still just seems like a step backwards at this point, as opposed to having something that can be both.
I really enjoy not being tethered down by wires, especially when I'm lunging after the disc in Echo Arena.
I can't even imagine.
Freaking my wife out because she thinks I'm lunging towards her.
Doesn't she see that thing on your face that indicates that you're not quite in the same room?
She knows that, but when I'm like, and her face is like right there, and I'm like coming, and I'm just like that far away, she just, it's just automatic,
Right.
It's coming out of your face, even if it stops 2 feet away, if it's coming,
No, I gotcha. Nobody actually wants to see it still coming. Stopping is good, but actually in motion, not.
Right, exactly. So that's one thing I need to work on, is learning how to do a little bit less moving around in there, because actually a lot of things, surprisingly, don't need big motions in Echo Arena. When you are launching off of the geometry, you don't need to go like that. You can just go, and you go the same speed. So,
Right. I know. It takes a while to get used to the fact that you're in 0G and just the slightest movement has you propelled the way that you want to. So.
right. But that's, it's just like with any sport, the more you play it, the more efficient you are with the movements of the sport.
Right.
So like the tennis, at the beginning, everybody runs all over the court chasing the ball, and by the time they are pros, they know where the ball is going to be, and they know even before it crosses the net, that's going to hit out of bounds. No way I'm going to make it in time before that, and so they don't they don't waste energy on it. Yeah.
It's like when I used to play paddleball when I was in my youth, and we would play against guys who I would now guess were probably close to my age, but I considered to be old men at that point. And they would just stand there and they would whack that ball without moving. They would just stand in the same place. We'd be running all over like nobody's business, and they would just So yeah, you get very efficient.
So how did you get better at Echo Arena? Instead of going to grab, you just go, and then you go.
Right.
And instead of taking a huge physical step in the living room, you take a small step, because you're already a lot closer to where you need to be because you are better at predicting and the teammates are better at throwing and so
Sure. It is a sport, exactly. The
yeah,
bottom line is it is a
yeah,
sport, and it's not something you could just hop into and expect to be a professional immediately. It's going to take some
right.
time.
Yep. So moving on to our new releases, of course, we have Premium Bowling on the Quest. Supposed to be the most realistic the bowling games so far, especially on the Quest. I'm not sure if there's another game on Rift that they claim to be more realistic or not. I haven't researched that, but it's supposed to
Right.
be the most realistic bowling game right now. However, I watched some of the gameplay and I read other people's the comments on it, and it seems like a lot of people have issues with the graphics. Some people don't have issues with the graphics because the mechanics outweigh that. But other people are like, I just can't get over the fact that I'm watching my buddy walk around like he is drunk, always on the verge of falling over, and then he throws the ball between his legs.
Right. I know that nobody was impressed by the graphics. That was for sure. All I read about the graphics was complaints to acceptance. But I did, as far as, and also some people did comment on the fact that it was sort of soulless and joyless because some of the um, areas that they provide you with are sort of soulless and joyless, and the NPCs that they populate the room with are soulless and joyless, and they
Right,
might want to fix that up a little bit, and maybe throw in a mini game for darts or something.
right.
But so yeah, I've read that the ambiance really isn't what you would want. However, if you really enjoy bowling, everybody says, this is it. It's bowling in your living room.
Right. And on the other hand, it also doesn't, it currently did not have voice chat, but I believe the developer is going to be adding that in. Why it
Right.
wasn't there at the get-go, I'm not sure. A game like bowling, which is an inherently social event with no voice chat, it's, how do I understand that decision?
Well, the funny thing is that the Gargantua, Swords of Gargantua, in announcing their latest patch notes, also talked something about voice chat and re-enabling it or enabling it because there was problems with that too. So this might be something inherent between Oculus and the developers that's been going on because they're not the only ones.
Yeah, either way, it's like weird that it launched with no voice chat because you would imagine that'd be essential to, to a game like this.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you can use Oculus parties, but
But that's
that's
not
not
the
the ideal
point.
system either necessarily.
Exactly. It sounds like it really does need some updates. Let's just say
Yeah,
some updates, some
and
patches, maybe.
yeah, and I have to say I like the idea that it takes into account the different ball types and their uh, characteristics, and it takes in different lane characteristics like how much oil is on the lane, etc. That's cool, and that would obviously give it a more realistic uh, feel, I guess.
Right.
But if the graphics are too much not in sync with the way it feels, that for some people that's going to be too much of a disconnect.
Right.
And
We've talked about the immersion break. Yeah.
right,
We've talked that, if the game itself is immersive enough, the graphics are not as,
right.
but in a game
Uh,
like bowling, you have a lot of time to take into account everything. It's not a fast-paced game.
right. And if I'm holding my m- m- my invisible weightless virtual ball like I would a normal one, it's lined up with this shoulder and it comes down by my right hip. It doesn't go and come down through my crotch and they go up my butt as I throw, and then they come out that way.
Oh,
So,
really?
you
I've
know,
never.
if I'm throwing it this way and in the game, I see my arm this way, I don't know if that's gonna mess with me and throw off my aim, or I don't know. I haven't given it a try yet, so I don't know.
No, me neither. And that's just it. Is the reviews do seem to be very mixed. It seems to
Right.
be either a 5 star or a 3 star. Nobody's even going for the 4. You know, it's like either, yeah, I really loved it, or something's got to change here. You know, so, but they all agree the physics are great. So that's the only thing I can say once
Right.
again. And
Yep.
I'm drawn back because the idea of being able to bowl in the middle of my living room sounds great.
Right. And on the other hand, I have Sports Scramble, so if I really want to bowl, I can. It's kind of a wasteland as far as the multiplayer goes. As far as I can tell, I haven't found anybody, and I think it's one where you've got to um, schedule time, you know.
Right.
But still, I can turn off a lot of the wacky stuff and then just bowl if I want to. You know, it's a lot more arcadey, yes, but it still feels like bowl. You know,
Right.
and this
No, I
one
mean
would
sports.
probably feel a little bit more realistic. You know, but it's
Right.
like is that enough to make me just go for this over what I already have? You know, I don't know. You
Right.
know?
I know, because I almost went with Sports Scramble when I realized that you could actually make them not stupid and play them as real games. But it just didn't seem like that game ever really took off to the point like you're talking about the Wasteland. It just doesn't seem like it's
Right,
very populated, you know. It's
right.
like,
Which is a shame in my opinion because it is well done. The only gripe I ever had with it was them using uh, the trigger when you would expect grip, but they did have that in as a toggle. You can change that in the settings so that it uses grip to grip instead of the trigger to grip.
right,
And then again, the climb was the same way. The trigger to hold on. You're holding on with only your index fingers.
yeah. How realistic does it
Completely
get,
realistic.
you know? It is kind of crazy. Some of the choices that have been made through the year have been not the best. I'll grant you that. But it does seem that people are learning for the most part.
Yep.
But we are having this discussion about bowling, so I guess not everybody is learning.
Right.
Also,
I would love to have a really realistic simulator, but at the same time, no, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of these things are you have to actually try it to really know it, but just from what I've seen, it has not really impressed me.
right. I was going to say basically what I need to do is see 1.6 patch update where you can now play eSpire in bowling or whatever. You know, I mean, they have to do something to make it more appealing, you know. And then I would go for it, for sure.
Yeah. So I think we've talked that to death now, maybe. So we have another new release, a rather hype one, but not for the Quest yet. It might come out for the Quest in the future. I haven't heard anything definite one way or the other, but their other game has come out for the Quest, so there's a good chance that this one will too. And of course, I'm talking about the Wizards Dark Time. Right now,
Yeah.
it's on Rift. Okay, it just came out. From what I've seen, and and heard it's a big improvement over their first game, The Wizards of Meliora.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks good. It looks fun, but it's we have so much for right now. And
Right.
will they be able to compress and optimize everything else to make a run on the Quest also? I don't know, but if they did, I'm thinking that what I've seen other people suggest sounds reasonable, which is it'll probably be about a year from now when they do, if they do. Because I believe Wizards of Meliora was out on Rift, and then like a year or so later, it came out on the Quest. So, granted,
Yeah,
it's only been
but
around a year, but
I was going to say at this point now that the Quest has shown its value in moving games, I would think that not taking into account the Quest is a big mistake on these
yeah,
developers' part.
yeah, yeah. I would have expected them to have it out on the Quest as well, but so they did not. So, hopefully, they do bring it to the Quest. But even if they don't, you can still play it on the Quest.
Right.
And virtual desktop.
Being,
So, so it kind of sort of counts as a Quest release because of that.
okay.
And that reminds me, remember way back when I was, I forget if I did it on the podcast or just in our private conversation, but I was pointing out that, yeah, the Quest store itself is heavily curated, but they are directing people, take you to the Rift store, take you to the Rift store, take you to the Go store, because those are not as heavily curated. And then we saw them, granted they've stopped now for whatever reason, but they were moving the Go titles to the Quest and the Quest compatibility mode. And then we had Virtual Desktop making all of the Rift games available.
Mm-hmm.
And then the link cable, and I was kind of pointing out, hey, they're not saying no, they're just saying we can't have it in our heavily curated, but the Rift store acts as the Quest store.
I know, I'm not really sure why they did it the way that they did it. It
Right.
seems sort of foolish, but
Right. But what's going on now kind of shows that I was right about that.
exactly.
So, I mean, if you've got Shadow and Virtual Desktop, if you've got a VR Ready PC and Virtual Desktop, if you've got a VR Ready PC and Link, the Rift store is a secondary Quest store.
Right. My only problem, once again, with the Link is I'm tethered again,
Right.
So, but Virtual Desktop really has me intrigued. At this point, I would like to see Echo Arena on that, and I'd like to see Combat, and I'm probably going to upgrade my little PC VR there a bit and start doing some side load.
I do have to say, Echo Arena looks, you can tell that it's the same game, but it looks a lot better in the Rift version than it does in the Quest version. I mean, there's reflectiveness everywhere. There's much more detailedness on the patterns and the joints and all that of the box, and it's a major difference, but it's kind of like the difference of having a sheet of plastic you are looking through versus no sheet of plastic.
Right. So
Right.
right. It's just not graphically as beautiful.
Right. but when we're in the quest, it is good enough that it reads the same. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
Your mind is registering it as realistically as it would in the
Right.
Rift. It's just that the Rift reinforces it a little more with its graphic capabilities. So.
Right. Yeah. So. Anyways, we also have, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this one, how the developer intends for it to be pronounced, rather. Era on Rift. That's Air, A-I-R, with an A at the end of it. It's a tower defense game that just came out, and it claims that never before done in a tower defense game, and pretty sure that mechanic has been done before in a VR tower defense game. But basically, you set up the towers, and then you can go and occupy the towers for a first-person view of shooting at the enemy as they come down. You can like you might have a Gatling gun tower or a laser gun tower or a grenade tower or an electro bow tower or whatever.
Right.
It's a tower defense game with a first-person shooter aspect to it. So.
I believe that has been done before. I do
Yeah.
believe I have played like that, but
Yeah.
maybe not. It might have just been a dream I had, but I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm pretty sure there has something at the very least on SideQuest or Steam that has that same, occupy the tower mechanic. So.
Right.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I guess it's just a means of hyping something again, it's...
Right. Speaking of SideQuest, the last new release I was going to talk about is on SideQuest. It's called Flowborn. And its claim to fame is something that's a little bit unique to it. It is a meditative experience app that uses your breathing to navigate, as it were, through the game. And the deeper you inhale and the longer you exhale, the more of the path is revealed and the more of the path you go down or whatever. And they're not using the microphone to detect your breathing, which is what I would have first to jump to as a way of detecting breathing. Well, what they are doing is they are having you place your hand with your controller on your solar plexus. And as you breathe in, it moves outward. As you breathe out, it goes back inward.
Okay.
So it's detecting your controller movement based on your breathing.
Well, most people don't breathe properly, and that's an interesting...
Right, that's also teaching a proper breathing technique, abdominal breathing as opposed to chest breathing.
Exactly. That is brilliant when you...
Yeah, and
actually,
evidently the controller will vibrate if you've got it in the right spot, but if you move it away from the right spot, then it becomes unresponsive, and you can move it all you want, but it won't trigger the motion in the game. So there's no cheating, like on,
Right. Well, the same with the microphone. I mean, you could make believe you're breathing and with just blowing or inhaling with straw or something, and here you need to actually get this moving. And I'm supposing if you're not breathing the correct way, it's going to say something or not respond.
Right. Well, it's not going to move very much because if you've got it in the right spot and you're just doing chest breathing, your hand isn't going to move very much.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
but the abdominal breathing then moves a lot.
Right.
Relatively, because it's not like it's going unless you have a really weird body. But it moves a lot more.
No, I
So
could see that for
that's
sure.
pretty innovative of them, and just a good use of the limitations to overcome the limitations of the device.
Exactly. I'm impressed. It's unique and it's sort of brilliant. Like I said,
Yeah.
I immediately saw the benefit of teaching you abdominal breathing.
Yep. And that brings us to upcoming titles. We have Ecosphere, a series of 180 and 360 and whatnot videos about natural stuff, and like uh, I have the page pulled up here somewhere. Hang on. Do I have it pulled up? No, I don't. Okay. So, anyways, it's basically like the National Geographic videos, not the National Geographic Explorer VR game. That's a different story. It's an actual interactive experience, but this is more like the Blue, or like if you were watching Jonathan Bird's Blue World or whatever, but in VR with a 360-degree camera, etc. Uh, the store page says, venture into the wildest places on Earth and meet the humans protecting our most precious wildlife. Explore the great savannas of Kenya, discover the ancient jungles of Borneo, and dive into the rich coral reefs of Raja Ampat. Ecosphere is an uplifting nature documentary series by the award-winning studio Foria, produced in partnership with Worldwide Fund for Nature and a few other places. So and in the Alpha VR, I believe, article says that it's a 180 degrees 3D footage. So it's sit back and watch thing. It's not a game. I do believe that it will be free, so that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
In my personal opinion, most things that are just experiences like that, if they cost money, they shouldn't be a lot of money unless they're really long and narrative driven. Like if it's a full-length Hollywood movie, sure, charge me $15 or $20 or whatever for it, sure, because that's roughly the price of going to the movie and seeing it, you know.
Right.
But if it's a 10-minute thing, don't charge me that much for it. So,
Even if it's a 20-minute thing, and yeah, like you're saying, it all depends on the quality, how the narrative is, and I don't know. That's a tough one. 3D 180 in VR is hit and miss. It
yeah,
really is.
yes, you're right. And um, I wish them luck. I'm sure they put a lot of work into it, but this is more of it's not really something that they're putting out there to get money. It's more like an activist thing, raising awareness. So
Right. The only thing I will say is that if it comes down to watching 3D 180 stuff, the Felix and Paul stuff is virtually unbeatable. So
yeah,
that's the only thing I can compare to, and that's going to be a step for them. If they could reach that, I'm in.
I doubt they're going to reach that, but you never know. Maybe they did. I don't know yet.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'll give it a shot if it's free.
Yeah, yeah. So And that brings us to news. I have really cool segues today, don't I?
Gary Gnews. Oh, I can't come tell you what's coming next. That's the amazing part. This is our
Uh,
adventure episode.
yes. I think you put this, this one in there. I haven't really read up on it very much yet, but
Oh,
Road to VR had an obstacle about, or had an article about Optim turning Unreal Engine enterprise projects into VR-capable apps for collaboration and review. So, if you want to talk about that and tell us what that is.
yeah, basically what they're doing is the same way that Zoom is able to support 3D avatars at this point. They seem to be the 3D avatar, make it look like you know, basically use a picture of you to get it started. They're building it, like I said, with Unreal, which is a heavy duty player, in, as you well know, in the VR industry. And they're looking to go cross-platform so that you can take your avatar with you everywhere that you go. And they're going to start by creating these rooms that I believe up to 10 people can participate in, but
Okay.
looking like yourself, like or a holographic image of yourself.
Right.
And
So, kind of like what Spatial is doing with the photo scan of the face.
exactly. But they're also going to have like, however, I don't know how, but supposedly it'll read your emotions and it'll
Yeah.
be displayed. And, you know, once again, they make it sound great. We'll see what happens when they actually come out with it. But, and just the fact that they're making it work with Unreal is
Right.
an interesting way that they're going. They're obviously building it in to be inclusive in things that already exist, I think so.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is interesting. And that reminds me of something that I forgot to put on here. Um, Immersed is now working with Zoom and whatnot as well, I believe. So you can be in your Immersed VR workspace and open up a Zoom window and attend the Zoom call that way.
Right.
Rather than having to drop out and then go attend in the boring real world or whatever, or have to keep going. Yeah.
I
So,
know. It's good though. I mean, the world really has adapted to virtual very quickly over the last couple of months.
I'm wondering if that's going to be an easier setup than Faces was, which I did try. Faces lets you tap into the Zoom to camera and do it that way also, but it's not in the Oculus store, not in the Steam store. You have to download it and then run the program on the computer without Steam or Oculus, but then it gets picked up as an I believe OpenVR application.
Okay.
So I want to say that when I tried it, I had to inject it into VR Desktop, but I can't remember. I think I had to do that. So it's a little bit more complicated to set up. Not everyone's going to want to do that.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't that hard, but you know, not everyone's going to want to do that. Whereas Immerse is just a download, install on your Quest or your Rift or whatever. And if it's just a simple matter of within Immersed, you know, then I would say that's a lot better.
Oh yeah.
So,
The less friction, the more it'll be used.
right, exactly. I know Michael is probably looking forward to that one.
Oh, we'll never see him in the real world again. That'll be it. We'll have to go down to the basement.
I don't ever see him online.
That's true. He's disappeared into VR. He's the ghost in the machine.
Yep. So we also have Baobab Studios releasing a new VR movie experience later this year. It's called Baba Yaga. Baobab, or Baobab, whichever way you want to say it, are the developers behind Bonfire and Asteroid. And they have a new project coming up called Baba Yaga, which is described as, it's up to you and your sister Magda to save your mother by entering the forest to obtain the cure from the enigmatic witch Baba Yaga. Your choices define how this story of love and magic ends. So it will be unveiled at the 2020 NEC International Animation Festival online in a few weeks. So, and then I don't know when it will premiere on the headset, but that's later this year. So,
but Asteroid and Bonfire were just movies. They weren't interactive.
This one weren't. Well, the Bonfire, there was a little bit of interactivity, I think, but I don't think anything you did affected anything. Asteroid, I never did the whole experience. I only ever saw the previous stuff of that. So I don't know if there was any interactivity, that affected things. So
if there was, it's meaningless, because I've gone through them, and no, I don't remember any interactivity. So if there was, it obviously wasn't very interactive, or.
So either way, those were both well received and very well done. So this should be the same, only better, because as the Upload VR article pointed out, they have learned from each of their previous products, and they've gotten better each time. So this one should be better than either one of the other two combined.
I'm looking forward to it then.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm looking forward to it then. It's interesting that they would go with the entire Baba Yaga, scenario. That's
something a lot of people know, at least the name, and they know a little bit about it. So that might be why, because it's got more name brand familiarity than if they went with Samantha the Head Witch or whatever. Yeah.
I would get Samantha the Head Witch. No, I don't think that would be the. Okay,
So,
I'll buy that.
But moving on, we also have news that I Expect You to Die has generated $2 million on the Quest, and his sales numbers are near 100,000. So it also has joined the $2 million Quest Club. So that is good news.
It's amazing news, and I would just like to personally take credit for having purchased a copy of I Expect You to Die last week, which I think pushed them over the $2 million mark. And
maybe they were at 1,999,985, and then you pushed them over with your purchase.
And it was an honor. It was an honor. It really was. Thank you. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
We have some Oculus Link news. There's an update that improves visual stability of up-close content under fast head motion.
But they say that's version 18, and we're running version 17.
Yeah, not, but the fact that they are still working on it, obviously, is a good thing, and it's getting better and better almost every week. Also, that's as I know you have mentioned before, it's amazing what you can do with the with the quest, and it just keeps getting better and better. You know?
At this point, I'm just wondering why they haven't taken the rift and beaten it to death with a hammer, because they're certainly doing everything in their power to kill it, and they're just doing it so painfully slowly. It's torturous. They should free it from its bonds, you know.
Yeah, I just pulled up the article here, and it says the Oculus PC app version 18 update improves the accuracy of positional tracking prediction for Oculus Link. Improved translation accuracy on predicted poses, and that improves the visual stability of upload content, blah, blah, blah. So it basically gives it, it is better at predicting where you are going to be in the movement, so that it knows what frame to be rendering, instead of occasionally picking the wrong one. You know, it's getting better at picking the right one to pre-render and show to you.
That was one of the things that I wanted to mention in bowling, which I know we spent too time on anyway, was everybody said that the tracking was amazing, that it never lost track of the ball, even though you're bringing it behind your back, which is pretty impressive. So I guess the same type of algorithm. So how has your battery pack been working out for you? I know you picked up a battery pack in order to stay in Echo.
I can go like a 2.5 hour Echo arena session, and I'm down from 100% to like 85 to 90, just somewhere in there. So.
Wow, that's great. So. That really is very good. I have to change out my magnetic cable. I definitely think that's the problem, is that magnetic cable.
Those do tend to be a little bit slower. And I think yours was a 3.0 cable. Mine is a 3.1 cable. And that may be part of have the difference also. So.
Yeah, it could be. But there was no 3.1 cable when I was buying my 3.0 cable. So.
Right. We also have a couple Kickstarters to be talking about. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Man, that Hybri, what's that last one there? Hybri? Oh, man, that looks absolutely horrendous. I mean, on one level, it looks like a dream come true. On the other level, it looks like they just took Her. Was that the name of the movie? Her, she, who? And they just built the Japanese body for you. You can now have your partner, playmate. Oh my God. The way that they advertise this thing.
Call them companions.
Companions. Yeah. 49 bucks and you have your companion for life. I mean, what a deal. What a deal. And you can take anybody's picture. So your companion could be anybody in the universe.
Yes. So if you really have a crush on, say, Katherine Heigl, there you go. You know,
honey, I'm home. You know, Katie, come here and give me a hug. It's like, okay. So I think we're going to have a lot more people stuck in their house, and not from the pandemic, from curfews. I think this is going to be strictly Hybri.
So for those who are confused as to what we are going on about, there is a Kickstarter. It's not officially started yet, but I think it was uploaded, or I forget where I saw the link to it, but it takes you to a preview of the Kickstarter page, basically, so you can see it before it goes. And it's selling itself basically as, you remember Joy, the virtual companion from the movie Blade Runner? We made that a reality. an artificial intelligence-driven AR and VR companion for you. It's basically, you can customize almost everything about them. You can scan in a person's face and put it on them. You can download different modules, including NSFW modules.
How amazing. I would have never thought that they would go in a direction like that while reading it. Never in a million years.
Right.
This, you compare it to those. I would say this is more like the movie Weird Science.
Well, this is
where,
how they are comparing it.
right,
Yeah.
but I'd say this is Weird Science. So this is every 15-year-old's dream app. And I'm not limiting you to being 15. This is like every guy's dream app. So,
I'm not quite sure how they're gonna follow through on all the promises they're making, but who knows? I mean, it is Kickstarter. It might end up being just a try to take your money and run sort of thing. Yeah, you never know.
I can't, and you see the levels that they give you as they reach certain levels. It's like, as you reach the levels, they just become more and more human. Until eventually, I think they send somebody to your door, and you have your iRobot companion with you if you read the website.
And what I thought was really interesting and amusing and wondering how it was going to work is they talked about running on your phone. But unlike how the Gear VR works, unlike how the cardboard works, instead of setting it into two half of your screen resolution images, it somehow has the full resolution for each eye, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. That sounds like a little bit of magic there.
Well, I know they sell a companion headset, although they say that you can use your cardboard headset.
Right. Yeah, you can use your cardboard or any, and it was showing hand tracking.
Right.
And gestures.
Well, you see, I understand the AR part of it because, like, I know that in your phone, I have a Merge, which was like one of the first headsets that you could buy to use with your phone, and that was an AR headset, but you needed to be able to pull it out to be able to look through.
Right.
So
I'm not quite sure how much of the promises is going to be lived up to in the final product. It honestly sounds a little bit like Ronnie Ababit is good behind the marketing for that.
It does, and I wouldn't be surprised.
You'll have a whale in your bedroom.
Right.
Splashing with steel water that comes out of your phone to hit your face.
Right. Just wait. In what it was my jaw just dropped when I read it. That was just, and they really don't hold back on their description. I mean, they're really promising you like.
And what really gets me is I watched the official video for it on the Kickstarter page. Man, that was so over the top. We will have true AI companions for you, revolutionizing the world. He was literally talking like that.
I know. It's look. I think this is geared, like I said, from the 15th to 17th group, and after that, you're going to be kind of suspicious that anything like this can exist. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was showing a lot of women using it. But in the video, I'm like, I don't know. This seems more oriented toward men, but okay.
Well,
I mean,
women be politically correct.
would be interested in that too, I am sure. But it's like, I don't know. This is more a traditionally. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
It's basically, let's just come right out with it. It's AI porn on your phone for you to have
oh,
and hold.
and because it's AI, if you choose the right or the wrong, depending on your point of view, personality for your companion, it might be hard to get her to succumb to your advances or him. They actually to say that
Which
on him.
I know. I'm reading this thinking this is a selling point that we're going to give you a companion who doesn't like you. Okay, then.
Yes.
You know, the ultimate. Like I'm thinking back to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the
The ultimate,
Galaxy,
the
a brain the
ultimate,
size of a planet.
right?
Right.
Oh, I don't
It
want
was
to do
pretty
that.
funny, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not tonight, honey. I have a headache. You know,
Yeah.
that old algorithm again.
Realistic Kickstarter. We
But I
have,
think it,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, you go. I was just gonna say something stupid.
Okay. Moving on to a more realistic the Kickstarter, we have the Seal Belt Kickstarter. For only $222, you can pre-order a Seal Belt. What that is a haptic vest that basically condense down into a belt, like a WWF style belt. The Triumph Championship belt, like
Right.
it is embedded with haptic drivers all over it, obviously, and it serves the same purpose as a vest, but it's less um, cumbersome, restrictive, whatever. But it basically serves the same purpose as that, and they advertise that it can, excuse me, translate all the audible frequencies, and they cite 1 hertz as an audible frequency, which is not, but um, going all the way from 1 to like 75,000 or whatever.
Right.
So,
But where is it going to reproduce this?
yeah, so that would basically be how quickly is it vibrating against your skin.
Right. So you basically they're saying that you're going to get the bass that's so low that you're going to feel the rumble of the bass, and the treble is so high you're going to feel the pain from the high pitched noise. It's
Right, but it's
great.
also down around your waist. So
How? That's my question to you, is how am I going to put on a belt that's going to make my chest feel like a bullet hit
it's
it?
not going to make your chest feel bad. I never said that.
Right. It's going to make my stomach
So
feel
you
that
would
way.
get
So everything is going to
positive
happen in
pain, but you would feel it in
my
your
stomach.
your stomach or your pelvis area. Yes.
Right. And if somebody hits me on the head, I'm going to feel it in my pelvis area.
Yeah.
And if somebody kicks me in the shin, I'm going to feel it in my pelvis area.
Well, to be fair, if someone kicks you in your shin and you're wearing a vest, you're going to feel it in your chest. So
I
none of them
think
are perfect.
this gives you more true, but I think the vest gives you more coverage. I'm just
Yeah.
really the idea of it would sort of be like having a haptic ring. Like, okay, I have this ring, so my finger is going to buzz every time you hit my head. It's like, okay,
But no, I understand. So some people might prefer this the format to a cumbersome, heavy vest. Other people will opt for the vest because it gives a little bit closer to real, if you were to feel. Um, and they also point out that there are non-VR use cases also, like if you're on the construction site, and I'm sure there are plenty of solutions for this problem already, but a loud construction site, you can set up a Morse code signal that would be transmitted through the belt. But I'm pretty sure that if you have an Apple Watch or a smartwatch of some sort, you could set up a, hey, okay, come to the office right now. All right. Yeah.
Or your phone.
Yes. Yes. There are plenty of the solutions for that already, but it's another device that's intended to enhance listening to music, intended to enhance video games, etc. I could see this being handy at the gym, say, if you were doing, the music at the gym and you wanted that rumble, you're not necessarily gonna want to wear that big haptic vest, but a belt might work in them night. I don't know. So, but I thought it was interesting. It, I think it's a little bit less than some of the other products out there are too. I forget how much the Wooger vest and the haptic one are, but I think they're a little bit more than that. So it's another contender in the marketplace, and I am all for competition.
Oh, no,
It drives everybody to be better. So
I agree. I just think this is sort of pretty weird solution to feel everything in your pelvis when you play.
If nothing else, it would be the perfect thing to pair with Hybri.
I was just going to say that goes with Hybri perfectly.
And with that, we just made this an NSFW podcast. I'm sorry.
It had to be done, Josh. It had to be done. It's going to be tough to go on with GNUs after this.
Well, that was the last news item, so we don't have to go on with the news.
They really sort of went hand in hand there. That was Hybri and the belt are definitely, It was perfect. I liked it.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was it. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, punch your neighbor until they also like and subscribe. Well, no, let's not punch your neighbor. Let's gently tap them on the forehead and then guide them to the computer. Put their hand on the computer. Well, to put the hand on the mouse attached to the computer. Pull up YouTube for them. Pull purchase. And then click like and subscribe on their behalf.
And then you can unfriend them or do whatever you want with them as long as we have them subscribe to our channel. So that's all we ask of you.
Yeah. In other words, have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, comment if you thought anything we said was stupid or wrong or funny, especially if it was funny. Or if you have more information that you feel we left out, hey, let us know. We are not perfect. Unlike the Hybri characters, we are only human.
Oh, if they'd like to send us a copy of Hybri, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah. On that note, goodbye.
Bye.